Welcome back to REMICTV. I'm Jasmine Bowen, and you are watching the second part of our interview with Randy, the real estate investor with a heart. So, welcome back. Randy, let's talk about your book. You wrote a book.
Yes, I did.
So, tell me about it. Investing in condominiums. So, this is your specialty, is it?
Absolutely. It's one of my specialties and one of my passions. I can tell you that this book, co-written with Brian Prasad, it's 2 years in the making and a distillation of so many years of experiences of all the experts and people that we've interviewed and all the deals that we've done.
All right.
And I'll tell you a bit about the book.
Sure.
The book is about, it's about what a buyer needs to know before they go buy their first condominium, what an investor needs to know before they make a decision on their first investment beyond their own home, and what anyone needs to know about what's happening in the condominium industry today. There's been a veil over this industry. There's been a boom over the last 7 years, and there's been a bit of a mystery as to how people are getting all these deals. And we basically crack the code. We give the secrets as to where the opportunities are.
So you're the magician revealing the tricks.
Absolutely.
Now, is this book meant for people who know nothing about the industry, or do you need a general level of knowledge?
No, this is meant for a basic beginner, someone looking to buy their first condos. You could be 17, straight out of high school, you want to know how to buy your first condo, this is the book to go and read.
All right, now we touched on this a little bit before where we talked about maybe students aren't the best people to buy a condo.
Yeah.
But you show them, you know, the loophole, the way in.
Hey, you know what? I was a bit biased earlier on, and maybe that's an age thing because I'm no longer young anymore. I'm 17. But you could buy a piece of real estate when you're 17 years old.
Yes,
I was actually talking to someone about that. Why not joint venture with someone who's got the credit, who's got the down payment? You find the deal. Lease to owning is one of them. Why not be a student, have a piece of the action? You want to stay in a condo downtown Toronto, close to the U of T school, you find the deal, you bring it to someone who's got the money and the credit and say, listen, I'm going to lease this from you as a student. As soon as I graduate and get my job, I'm buying it from you. You got to give me a 5% free down payment. Well, those are different ways that you can make a deal happen. So what I do is I'm a creative real estate solver. So I mean, I am presented with problems every single day. And what I do with all the experiences and all my learning and all my teaching, I'm about solving problems.
Do you think you could tell me maybe somebody who came to you with the hardest problem you ever had to solve?
Oh, wow. Hardest problem I ever had? That's a tough question. You completely stumped me there.
Maybe a jigsaw puzzle with 6 pieces missing.
The tough situation there. I didn't hear that. Sorry, your question there?
A jigsaw puzzle with 6 pieces missing. The hardest puzzle you ever had to solve.
So the hardest real estate deal I've ever had. Wow.
Maybe, do you want to come back to that? I'll give you a second.
That's a really tough one. I mean, there's every client. That's a tough one.
Tell me, what inspired you to be kind of the magician telling people how to do the tricks? Why did you decide to write this book?
To tell you the truth, I realize that I'm one of those people that is an information junkie. I'm a fact finder.
Okay.
That's what makes me what I am today. That's what made me excel in the academic area. I studied fantastically. I'd love to study. I love to learn. That's what makes me a great real estate agent, because my clients love the fact that I know a lot of stuff. And when I went into the condominium industry, I was part of the boom. I mean, I started selling real estate since 2000, but the condominium market took off in 2005 and 2006. And I took off along with it. So I sold a lot of pre-construction real estate from 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, and I participated in a lot of sales with a lot of different builders. So this was from someone who was strictly in resale sales, now going into brand new condominium sales, being fairly young, technology savvy, understanding the industry, and now seeing the opportunity. So now I came from it from a point of view of what does an average agent now need to know about the industry? They need to be able to tell their clients. Real estate agents need to read this book too.
All right, so the book is for everyone. Now tell me, who in your opinion is kind of the ideal investor? What does the picture of the ideal investor look like?
I think an ideal investor is someone who's got $1 million in the bank, an 800 Beacon score,
all right,
and all the time in the world to do as many deals as I possibly can.
So
that's the ideal
retired
investor. Well, yeah, I mean, I think the fun part about real estate, and that's my personal take on it, is going and checking out properties, putting in offers, getting to meet the other agents, the other sellers, the other buyers, and making that deal happen. It's sexy, it's fun, it gets me excited to make a deal happen. That's what makes me love real estate. is the deal making side of it.
Wow, I mean, the adrenaline rush of it
Absolutely,
all.
yeah.
There's even adrenaline in real estate. You don't have to skydive for those of you who want that adrenaline rush.
It's almost like skydiving. You try signing an offer for $1.2 million and not having any money to close on it and figure out how to make that happen. That would get you real excited.
Oh, that certainly does sound like a puzzle that's hard to solve. So did you come up with the hardest one?
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I'm really glad that you brought that up. You just picked it out from there. So what a real estate investor does, a sophisticated one who understands how to work with assignments and investors, joint venturing, is being able to tie up a great deal. Because people tell me all the time, listen, I can find a great deal, but I can't get the money. That's baloney. I tell you that right now. There are millions of dollars on the sidelines in Canada and the U.S. for great deals. There's tons of money out there. A lot of people that have the money but don't have the time and energy and skills to find the deals.
Right.
So if you become a deal finder, find the right deals, structure them properly, you'll get the money. So what a lot of people do as beginner investors or even sophisticated ones be using other people's money is they go and find a deal, scout it, tie it up, do due diligence on it, and bring on an investor to come in and close it. So that's the tough stuff. So let's say you want to buy an apartment building of $2 million and have a piece of it, and all you have is $2,000. That's a pretty tough puzzle to solve. You got $2,000 when I want to build in for $2 million. How can you actually make that happen? Well, guess what? It's out there. You can do it. You can tie up the property, negotiate a VTB, get some special financing terms, take it to an investor, show the investor with the VTB and their small investment of maybe $100,000 or $50,000, you can own that building, and you can, as a joint venture partner, put some skin in the game and manage it and run it for them, and then maybe flip it for $500,000 more in about six to 10 years. Now, so that's a really tough puzzle. That's how you can create wealth.
It can be solved. Now, I can see a lot of people out there are probably factoring into their heads, okay, I have 2,000, my friend has 2,000, an investor has this much. Is there ever a time when you have maybe too many partners?
Oh, wow. I'm really glad that you brought that up. Partnerships and joint ventures are a double-edged sword. They could be a blessing, the best thing they've ever had to get you in a deal, but they can be a terrible thing too. And that's the people side of this business, is when you're getting into partnership with joint ventures. And funny enough, I was talking to a client about this recently. She's saying, oh, I'll get my best friend to join me and whatnot. I said, do you realize that your joint venture partnership is just as difficult as a relationship with your husband?
Oh.
I mean, if you think about all the times you're arguing and fighting and it's a love-hate, you really got to know each other, you got to trust each other. Well, that's about real estate. You're controlling a major asset that's worth a couple $100,000.
Absolutely.
And this partner you really have to trust, you really have to be able to work with. So, I mean, that's where the people side comes in joint venturing.
Right.
And you can do great things with joint venturing, people getting together and buying things together.
But is there a time when maybe, you shouldn't have more than 3 partners or more than 4? I mean, do you recommend that? Or?
You know what? Under the Ontario Securities Act, being able to buy property with strangers who are not friends and family, there is a restriction there. Structuring very complex joint venture structures through limited partnerships, you must have a prospectus filed when you're going out to the market for, I believe it's more than 31 owners. Okay. So there are restrictions created by the government to be able to protect the public so that the public is not putting money in things that they don't understand with people who they don't know.
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't put my money to someone I don't know necessarily. From your personal experience, though, I mean, the law is 31 partners that you don't know. From your experience, would you say, but I personally wouldn't work with more than 15 people, or the more people the better, or how does this work?
You know what? I mean, for me, if I were to get into a joint venture where I needed 10 people to put in $30,000 each, I would be the manager of that joint venture. And if that's what I needed to do to make a deal happen, why not?
All right.
It's just that the logistics of being able to actually communicate with all 10 of them.
Yeah.
How are they on title? If one of them gets in financial difficulty, do they put the deal at risk?
Yeah.
Do you want to structure it that way? How are you communicating? How do they all get along with each other? Do they want to be in partnership for 5, 10, 25 years as long as you own the asset? Or are they in partnership for only 3 months while you tie it up and flip it?
Right.
So these are all considerations to actually think about.
Absolutely. And anytime you're working with more than one person, or even working with one person, there's all these complications that arise. So I gave you a little bit of time. Can you think about the hardest puzzle you've ever put together now? Well,
you know what? I'll talk about a deal that I'm working on right now. I'm working on a deal where I've got an apartment building owner. He's about 84 years old. He owns two apartment buildings, a 10-plex and 11-plex. and he owns probably about $300,000 on one, $200,000 on the other. He's 84 years old. He's been doing real estate forever. He's managing his own assets. The buildings are in pretty good shape. He wants to retire. He wants to enjoy some sun and fun.
Right.
But getting past his mindset of having to pay capital gains tax is a really big issue.
Right.
Is that he sees selling and getting freedom as something that's less important than, you know, getting a hit on your capital gains tax. So I'm trying to make the deal happen. I'm trying to get in there and do the deal with him and trying to show him, listen, how much is it worth to you to get freedom and time with your grandkids, freedom and time with your wife and kids to go out and travel somewhere and leave the apartment building, sell it, experience a capital gain. It's when you're a Canadian, you got to pay taxes, and then experience that actual capital gain tax, and then move on with your life, and then me actually structuring that deal.
Absolutely.
And one of the ways that I'm doing is I'm showing them the power of VTBs, vendor take back financing, to be able to defer the capital gains tax that he needs to experience to make that deal happen. So the difficult part of the deal is working with the mentality of a seller that doesn't like paying tax and getting him to sell to you and getting him to lend you money on vendor financing when he's always held his money and his assets close to him. So those are the tough deals. Those are the things that I'm dealing with every single day on my own deals and deals for other clients. It's the mindsets of individuals.
Now, how do you keep that all straight?
You know what? I really consider myself like a professor of psychology in a way, in that being in the business now for 12 years as an active participant, either as a broker, as an investor, or as a buyer, I've met so many different personality types. And I can tell you, studying personality types is something that a smart real estate investor should be doing. You got to take a look at the profiles of an investor, figuring out what they want in the deal, and learning from people who are the best. So right now I've got an audio playing in my car right now, and it's Trump Negotiating Style by George Ross. And even I'm learning constantly from the best people, and I'm learning and distilling some of the basic fundamentals of investing that I'm probably doing in my daily deal making, but they're actually talking about it, and it's great.
That's amazing. So you got it down. I mean, I think you're really smart, and you seem to have gotten down. What's coming up in the future for you?
Well, you know what? I was talking to Frank about this, about smart people. I'm really proud of the education that I've gotten today. I'm really blessed to be able to be part of a great country. And because of my limited financial means and my parents being able to get me into school, I was able to get scholarships and get into school, get a great education, and get out there. And I just had dinner with the president of my university college. And I'm sorry.
It's okay. Where are you going? What's
smart people. I was talking about smart people. Yeah, I was talking to Frank about this. You know what? I can be as sharp as nails, the smartest guy I ever knew. But at the end of the day, you got to take action.
Yes.
So real estate investors that I know that are successful is, despite the fear of not knowing all the numbers, despite the fear of the deal not necessarily making sense at the current time, having the guts to sign on a contract and committing and writing a deposit check.
Figuring it out.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, what's made me successful sometimes is dumbing down, getting down to the reality of, I've got to stop thinking about the deal, overanalyzing the deal, taking action, and signing on the dotted line, and moving forward on it. So that's some of the best advice that I can tell you about being a smart person, is realize accountants are accountants for a very, very specific reason, and they're not real estate investors for others. I've seen many accountants analyze the deals to death and tell you why, 15 reasons about all the risk variables to it and why they would not buy into it, and other reasons why they would.
What you're essentially doing is signing yourself into debt and then running to find the money.
Well, that's from the risk perspective, but how I look at it as a real estate investor, I'm buying something that's a cash account for my kids 15, 20 years from now. I'm buying something that's a legacy for my grandkids 100 years from now.
So
that's what I'm buying.
That's the future. That's what you're looking for.
That's what I'm buying.
Well, we're almost out of time, but before we close up, how can we contact you or buy this book?
Absolutely. This book is in bookstores, being published by Wiley Publishing, in all bookstores, Amazon, Chapters, Indigo. You can buy it online as well. You can go to my website, condoinvest.ca.
And don't worry if Randy's talking too fast. It's on the bottom of your screen.
Absolutely, and you can go and order it there. And if you'd like any further information on the condominium market, that site will have and is a fantastic resource. You can always reach me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you out there on the other side of a good deal.
Well, thank you very much, Randy, for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure, and thank you all out there for watching REMICTV. I'm Jasmine Bowen, and we've been with Randy, the real estate investor with a heart. Catch you next time.